Hey there. So something happened to me the other day that just blew my mind, and I wanted to tell you guys about it because you seem like the kind of people who would be also interested in this because you're interested in the things that I'm interested in. It makes sense, I promise. So, what happened was that I got a new member in my community. Hi, David. Thanks for dropping in. And he reached out to me after he joined the community, and first he told me he loves the video content. He shares my video about how to box bulk all the time, he said. So that's great. Love a good positive feedback. Thanks, David. He also told me that he is a big supporter of a community that's centered around a dead CCG. And when he mentioned it, it was one that I had actually had some experience with back in high school, back in the early aughts. What, Maya? I'm making a video. So not only did he tell me that he was a big supporter of this community around a dead CCG that I didn't really know still existed, not only did he tell me that this CCG is coming back as a Kickstarter that's ending in a couple of days, but he also told me that he's a huge sealed collector for this CCG, and he's not affiliated with the company that's doing the Kickstarter, but he wants to raise more interest. So he wanted to send me some free sealed product from the history of this game. If you haven't figured it out, it's Warlord Saga of the Storm. And he wanted to send it to me so that I would make a video and talk about it just to get more interest in the game. So that's what I'm doing. So he did provide all this to me for free, for full disclosure. But yeah, this is really cool stuff. So there's a whole bunch of packs here. Not only did he send me a bunch of packs, he sent me the starter deck. Not only that, there's also a whole rule booklet here, and also several other sealed pre-constructed decks. So we're going to have a look at all these, we're going to talk about this game, and we're going to just have some fun with it. So, flashing back to when I was in high school, good lord, like 22 years ago? 23 years ago? I believe when this game came out, at some point they included a small starter deck, kind of like these. I'm not sure how big it was, in a Scry magazine, or I might have gotten it as a freebie at my local game store. Hi Mike, if you're watching this, who's the owner of the local game store we all went to. Anyway, I played around with it a little bit. I didn't ever end up buying a whole bunch of sealed product or anything like that from then, or trading for it. This was, it came out in 2001. It would have been spring 2001. So that would have been the end of my sophomore year of high school. I was really getting into Magic at that time. As you guys know, my history with the game, with CCGs in general, is I started out with Star Wars CCG, moved into Magic because I actually found people who would play with me and the rules made a little more sense. And then I went into the Lord of the Rings card game when that came out with the movies, when that started. So I think that was around the Warlord came out right before that game came out. And so a lot of my attention got absorbed by Lord of the Rings as well as Magic at that time. So I didn't really get into it then, but I knew it was a persistent, ongoing thing. Apparently the game lasted for about 10 years before it was finally shelved. And now it's being brought back with a Kickstarter. There's a big community apparently still who, kind of like the Star Wars CCG, have been maintaining like a rules committee and things like that. There's numerous different formats, kind of like Magic, for how to play. So I don't really know a whole lot about those things. I'm just dipping my toes into it now with all this. But yeah, that's what I've got. Let's open some of this stuff up so we can have a look at it. Alright, so let's open some of this stuff up. So, open this up. This is what the back of the card looks like. Warlord Saga of the Storm. I have to say the aesthetic is very much late 90s, early 2000s. A lot of it feels very much like old school Magic the Gathering. So this here is a Warlord, and the way the game works, it's a little bit like Commander, or a little bit like Flesh and Blood, in which case you have a faction leader or something like that, and they fall in a back rank, and then you play out other guys in front of them, like Lasan Warbreaker here. No, he's a warlord too, a dwarf warlord. That's cool. Always liked the dwarf factions in any game that I was playing. A lot of times they don't get as much support as they ought to, but I always liked them. Korios Bodach. I think these are all promos. That's why they're in that little sealed pack there. Lady of Mercy. Seems pretty cool. Simon Abraxas. Neat horn helmet there. Yeah, the art on these is sick. The Nothrogs are like the orcs and goblins culture. So that's neat. It's a bunch of different warlords. So a lot of different stuff you can play around with there. This is one of the... I believe this is a sealed, like, half a deck or starter deck or something like that. Let's look at that. Sorsha. A little bit of wear on the top of this card here. But that's alright. These are nearly 20 years old. I think this one's from 2005. Yeah, there's a date here, 2005. I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty small. Cone of Cold. Now, a lot of the stuff from this game, you can see it talks about DCs. Cone of Cold is a obvious D&D spell. A lot of this isn't purposefully intended to be identical to Dungeons and Dragons, so that it's easy for people who play Dungeons and Dragons to pick up and learn how to play. Arc Lightning, Charm Person, Acid Arrow, these are all spells in Dungeons and Dragons, right? Magic Missiles, iconic, right? Ball Lightning, Blast, Ring of Spirit Rack, some type of item, Riding Horse, neat spell book. It's very much like if we look at this guy, this is very much early 2000s, late 90s Magic the Gathering art, similar like Dragonlance type art and stuff like that. If you see artwork from the Dragonlance, the TSR Dragonlance modules and stuff from the late 90s, where they're coming out with their own not D&D. A lot of this art looks very similar. Sarth. That's funny. Umber Hulk. So that's literally a monster in Dungeons & Dragons, right? Edward Beard Jr. did the art on this. He's a Magic artist. If you'll recognize him on a bunch of cards from like Homelands and Ice Age. Amun Selket. It's like a mummy. Brine Fiend. Caradwyn. I'm not sure what the difference is with the blue. Some of these are blue, some of them aren't. Okay. So that's that whole little deck. Here's the rule booklet. This is, for those of you who don't know, there weren't computer programs that taught you how to play the game. For every game out there, you would get a gigantic fold-out piece of paper with very teeny tiny print on it that told you how to play the game. It's got the entire rules front and back. As soon as a player does not control a warlord character, the player is out of the game. So it's designed for multiplayer from the start. So multiple armies, battle of 5 armies if you want to do that, whatever. But as soon as a player doesn't control their warlord, like this Grilt Fenstalker here, then they're out of the game. Let's open some of these packs. This one's from a later set from 2004, so 3 years after the game release. It's called Sneak Attack. Let's get that opened up. So the rarities are at the bottom here. It's Pokemon rules, so circle for common. This was not long after Pokemon cards came out, so a couple years after Pokemon cards came out, so they just borrowed that same system. Outmatched. So this is a character, this is an action, this is an item, Lycos. So it's like a wolf, a little helper wolf. Percy Dorn is a character here. There's multiple different factions, so Free Kingdoms. There's another action, keep up the pace. Mirage Potion. Capex is another character, he's an elf. Here's the rare, Kavara's Glare. And I'll see if I can find prices for some of these as I go through and pop them up on the screen here. Gallows Root, Obsidian Gargoyle, and Seath Spears. Like I said, there's a community around these. This one's from the set called Dominance from 2003, so a little bit older. So I know there's cards that sell on eBay and stuff like that. And I know there's different places like CCG Trader, where you can trade some of these dead CCG cards. Revseth, it's a common elf creature, undead. Aphotocan, I don't know how to pronounce that.
Played with a flourish. Oh my god.
And I'm usually pretty good at pronouncing things. This is a monster, so that's neat. White Sash, a little item there for paladins and clerics. Stone of Fortune. I call on your power. Narassus. Eye Stalk of Will. Interesting. Leune Moonstone. Free Kingdoms Druid there. Skeltus. Magic Shield. Votar Charm. Did we get only commons in that pack? No, the Stone of Fortune was the rare. Okay. The pack ordering on these is all different. Let's do this one. This one's from the original set, the first set. We got another 2 more packs of this. So I opened one of these as a short yesterday and got apparently one of the most expensive cards in the set. So that was interesting. It's like a $40 card. Alright. We got Hamstring. Sir Diotram. Deverenian is his faction. Barbed Lash. Scavenge. Upside Down Uncommon to fight another day. Halberdier. Charge. This should be the rare. It is. Cleave. So it's a rare action. And it matches up with the old Cleave feat from 3rd edition D&D. If it makes a melee strike roll, if it hits, then it gets to make another additional wound. So, Giant Growth, Aura of Protection, and Mixed Potion. Neat. So this is from Death's Bargain. And doesn't this just look like a classic Magic pack? Like Prophecy, Invasion era. That's right at that same time period. We got Skaen. Some mercenary, wizardy type character. Frozen March. These are the uncommons. Jessup Meredith. This is the rare Wizard Eye. Mentalists and wizards only. It's a spell. It bounces items back to the player's hand, looks like. Neat. Ritual Scars. Cariel Glen. Oruga. Healing Rod. The Frontline. Bryn Iskar. And Transference. Let's check out this sealed starter deck, Betrayal. This is from 2003, so a good couple years after the game started going, had its legs under it. This is a Free Kingdoms Warlord from the Betrayal set. cards are loose inside the box, though the box itself was sealed. We've got an older rule book. The one that was sent was the 4th edition rule set. I'm not sure how big a difference there was between editions, but this is this starter deck here. And I think none of these are blue topped. I think the blue ones in that other starter thing were maybe to indicate what were supposed to be the starter, the cards you start with on the battlefield at the beginning. Anyway, we got Bakbu Umbala, Shade Lion, Lord Anguisant, Deveranian Scout, Lazarus Soul, Order of the Shadows, a dagger, good old +1 dagger, Riding Horse, Longsword, Kezia, Basil Nemus, Angus Hammerfall, Throw, Swift, Sand in Your Eyes, Nimble Fingers, Leveled, Hamstring, Backstab, another Backstab, Heavy Crossbow, Ballistic Crew, Avalanche. This is a character. This is a dwarf named Avalanche. That is something that confuses me sometimes, the way they do those. Patchwork Armor, Nothrog Daggers, Ablung's Quickmail, Pol Deslines, Martin Treek, Zachary Blaze, Elf Scout, and a traitor, apparently. If he's the only character left in the rank, he's killed. Okay. Scorch, Friction, Mangonel. This is like a siege weapon. Okay. Elise, Hobart Olafson, Iron Duke, Benedrick, Alex Fortnott, Fallow Sap Poison, Vital Distraction, Judas Root Poison, Arterial Strike. There's like only been one duplicate in this whole thing, so that's odd, right? Tarvel, The Favor of Fools, Greaves. Here's the promo Warlord, Vronish Kez. That's why it's been so crazy mixed up. He gets +2 attack, AC, and skill for each faction other than Free Kingdoms in his army. So, okay, we've got a foil rare here. Baya. It's a Nothrog Reaver. Look at that crazy art. Good job, Thomas Manning. Wave of Pain. Try Again, I Dare You. Hunting. Scorch. And Clerical Blessing. So the way it works is they push through the ranks to get to your Warlord, to kill your Warlord. And from what I understand, the way that works, the gameplay gets pretty deep. But again, I haven't played it myself, so I don't really know yet. Back 20 years ago, I played it a little bit against myself to get a feel for how the game works. That's really all I ever did. I read some articles in Scry. Good old Scry back then. So yeah, there's a Kickstarter to get this back up off the ground. And supposedly it's going pretty good. And also, the more interest in it, the better. The more interest that there is in the new game, from what I understand, all these cards will be compatible and usable with the new game as it comes out. So, that's exciting. So the more the new game gets buzz around it, then the more more of these older cards will come back into being more valuable. Here we go, Donovan the Chihar. Look at that. It's got 3 attacks, 6 plus 6 plus 5 plus 5. That seems like he's probably a pretty good card. I don't know for sure. Davon Ironthorn, Ring of Air, and Minor Globe of Invulnerability. Alright, we've got another base set, original set, or from what I understand, most people just refer to this set as Saga of the Storm, and the game as Warlord. Web, good old Web. One of my favorite spells. Valanthe, 3 attacks, though not very strong attacks. Hiding in Plain Sight. Here's the rare Inferno. Look at that art. Dwarf Guardian. Teoth's Axeman. Meet at the Inn. Classic. Blue Willow Wand. Short Sword. Shield Wall. Search and Fion. That's the last one. Here's our last sealed pack here. It's one of the earliest expansions. Assassin Strike. Kenzia Loris's Daggers. Nemeseth. Tech and Ket. And let's see, Courage from Faith. Here's the rare Wall of Fire. Cast that in my last D&D game. Invisibility Potion. It's classic. It definitely seems like it would be pretty simple for a D&D player, especially a 3.5 D&D player, to pick it right up and have no problem understanding how it works. Now, when I picked this up, I hadn't started playing D&D yet. It was a year after that I'd started. We've already opened this Sorsha. We've got 3 more sealed things here. So this one, at least they put the Warlord on the front. So this is a Nothrog deck. Grilt Fenstalker. Grilt's melee strikes inflict an additional wound against stunned characters once per turn before targeting a melee strike. If Grilt is in the front rank of your formation, the strike may target an additional rank away. Angry Crew. This feels a little bit more, already feels a little bit more like a well-constructed deck. This is from 2009, so this is from much later in the life of the game. Door of Clan Manaka. See, there's duplicates of cards, so you can bring them back and stuff like that. Elkin the Wily. Grooks. Kelsuk. Olo. Razul. Rital. Sappers. Verusk. This is a rare. Zentis. And then I've got a mercenary, some type of ghost character. Udar, another mercenary assassin. Seems pretty good. Silk. And then some actions. Pickpockets. Death from Below. Love this art. Turning Wrath. Dancing Lights, classic spell. Conch Horn. Weighted Net. Does it seem a lot like the old item artifacts from the early Magic sets? Hi, Maya. And these are both dated 2001 and have no set symbols on them. And they have this older type wrapping. So I'm pretty sure these are from the original Saga of the Storm set. Logan, Eben Wolf. Three Kingdoms Warlord right there. Sarah and Fionn. Kezia. Angus Hammerfall. Cool dwarf character there. Doesn't say dwarf though. It's a Free Kingdoms character. He's in exile, I see. Okay. The lore, I understand, is also really deep too. So Basil and Nemesis. Halberdier. Alia. Sand in Your Eyes. Pocket Sand. A Timberwolf. Another Longsword. Wyvern String Bow. Wyvern Sting Bow. Okay. I noticed just now none of these have set symbols on them. So this is all fixed in some way. Scout Pony, Longsword, Swift, To Fight Another Day, Scout Pony, Nimble Fingers, Backstab, Assassination, To Fight Another Day, Swift, another Backstab, another Kezia, another Sarah, Timothy Winsen, Basil Nimbus, Angus Hammerfall, and Alia. And then this one here, this is a Nothrog Warlord. And Krun. Sick art still. We got a little spot, a little whitening on the edge there. Sad to see it. Far done. Only move backwards using a card effect. A lot of actions in this one. There's Great Cleave, which is the feet above Cleave in the tree, I remember. Automatically deals a wound. Provides weapon. And then all the characters back again. So that's Warlord Saga of the Storm, CCG. I've got the note that Mr. David sent me in the package here. Included on it is this QR code. Let's focus on it. So there you go. If you want to check out the Kickstarter, you can scan that, or I'll put a link down in the description below us here. It just blew my mind that someone reached out to me just out of interest and love for this game from 23 years ago. Wanted to reach out to me and give me some of the game, get me interested in it, see if I can't maybe get you guys all interested in it so this game can come back to life and live on and grow so that he can enjoy playing the game even more. So he sent me this stuff, this free stuff he just had lying around. Like I said, that first pack that I opened in the short had a $40 card in it. So that's based on eBay solds, not just, finding some that are available for sale. That there's a big enough community for this game that was really off my radar. I hadn't even heard people talking about it, and it's just lets you know that truly every card has value. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's printed on a card, somebody's going to want it at some point, and it could be a lot of somebody's, especially compared to how many were made back when, in the past, when nobody wanted it as much as they do now. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into and playing this game. He also included a big printed out, like high-res playmat with all the rules built onto it, I guess, that the community had developed over the years. So looking forward to getting that out and trying to play this game either with my kids or my partner, or maybe find some friends who'll want to come try it out with me. But yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, check out Warlord Card Gamer. That's David's YouTube channel where he talks mostly about Warlord. Maya came to join, see what's going on with this game. So maybe she can sling some spells too. Anyway, thanks for dropping in and checking out this game with me. If you liked this video, then make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more content. I may do, some gameplay content at some point if I can convince somebody to play with me and hang out. Also I talk a whole lot about, how to sell cards and organize cards, and how every card, even this 20-year-old Punitive Strike uncommon from a game that is way off most people's radar, has value. So be sure and check it out, and make sure you check out this video right up here that Maya is looking at, so that you can see something else you'd be interested in watching.